Hi butterflies, and welcome back to One Hook, Two Hands. This is Sarah, the creator behind One Hook, Two Hands. And today we are actually in my little office area that has finally started to get organized, containing all my works in progress, which needed definitely to be out and seen, so I could kind of keep a more level head about what we're doing. And also just to start to be more organized a little bit about this, you'll see me in here a lot more rather than on my couch, although you may still see me crocheting in the shorts on my couch. But today we are over here because I want to talk about two things. One, I'm going to hopefully get to do another video that I'm going to be talking about my two oldest WIPs, for works in progress, for those of you who've not heard that term before, because I'm trying to educate all along the way as I go. But I'm going to do a video besides this one that will talk about my two oldest projects that definitely need to be completed. And one of them should have been completed a long time ago, and one of them I did inherit. So that one's not so much on me, but I need to start to try to figure out the pieces and parts to complete them. So I will briefly mention them in today's video. This video, what we're going to be mostly talking about is the things that I am doing for myself. Works in progress of just taking time and making this, like I talked about briefly in my other What Butterflies Mean to Me Hope video, about this year of healing. And I really do believe it's a year of healing. For those of you who don't know, I have a chronic illness that was recently finally diagnosed. I've been living with it for 4.5 years, but they diagnosed it as of 2 weeks ago, maybe. And that is autoimmune small fiber neuropathy with CIDP features, which all that means is my immune system is attacking the really small fibers in my body that control my muscle movement, my skin and pain tolerance, and all of the autonomic systems in my body, breathing, my heart, my digestive system, those kinds of things. Just the basic stuff. And that basic stuff is all controlled by these small nerves. Now, what's happening is my immune system is taking off the protective sheath. I'm not going to be able to say that word. SHEATH, protective coating around those nerves. Out of that, it's causing a bunch of different things. Again, paint to touch, which is, I can't even begin to explain that one, but I do live with it. Balance issues, GI issues I don't want to talk about, and all of these things. But as a part of this year and recognizing I'm on my way to healing, I'm really trying to focus and reset and do some things for myself and try to take care of myself in what ways I can. And one of those is crochet, because crochet is the one thing I'm able to do in the midst of this when I'm not able to do much. And it gives me a sense of not just wasting away, sitting around or laying around wasting away, but being able to still be part of the creative in person I love. And then two, just treat myself well, give myself special things. And so today's this work in progress video, I want to say today's because I feel like both of them, the two that I'm doing today, are going to come out on the same day. But today's work in progress video is about some of the things I've already made for myself this year, but things like going forward, starting the 1st of September, that I'm working on specifically for me, or that I finished in the month of August because that's my birth month. And I like to celebrate and restart my year in August because that's the year of my birth. And so I tend to reset like most people do in January and August. So I want to take a second and show you some of the things that I've either already made myself, and I just want to show you because they're pretty cool and bonus, and some of it I will be teaching you how to make. And two, some of these works in progress that I want accountability for to make sure I'm doing, and also to just kind of show you where I'm at in the process a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is move you, because, and this is going to be a little interesting as we go. But I'm going to first show you this. So this is my oldest work in progress personally of the things I'm making. And I'll explain more about this lovely little blanket later. Some of you may recognize the pattern. It was a work along that went around in 2015, 2016. Absolutely love the pattern. But I used it as kind of my patchwork quilt, and I'll explain that more later. But a lot of bright yarn, but this is the bright version. I completed the dark version, didn't complete the bright version. I'll show you that later. You may have even seen glimpses of the dark version, but this has only gotten to a certain point, and if you know anything about this, you can kind of tell it needs to be finished, just how much more I've got to go. So this is one, and like always, guys, I'm yawning, and that's part of the stupid thing. But my oldest blanket and oldest thing that I've been making for myself, just haven't finished. Next up, and this one was fun. This is something that I started creating at the beginning of the year. Now, I will say that I have tried and tried and tried to figure out where this granny square comes from. I saw an image of it online. It has a pattern of it online. Have no clue where the image, where that artist or where that creator of this granny square is. If someone on here knows, please tell me. I've been looking everywhere. I've reversed what's the word? Reverse image search Google for it, and it comes back to as like a pattern shown on Facebook and all that stuff, but it never tells me who created it. So at the end of the day, I don't know where the actual pattern for the crochet square comes from. However, I have had fun making a lot of things with it. So over here is the purple version of my granny square sweater, and I absolutely love it. And yes, I have bling details because, you know, every girl needs a little bling in their life. If you can't tell, those are purple crystallized looking flowers with crystals in the center. This is my purple and second version. So I kind of learned with my brown version, which is actually still at my office where I work. But this one is my second one. And so by the second one, I kind of knew some of the kinks. So in my first one, I made my pocket up here. No, do not do that. No, no, no. Pocket always goes on the bottom. 2, I learned that I needed to double line my pockets. And as you can see, that turned out really well, I think. And I always like to line pockets with some really fun fabric. So I did that here. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah, there we go. Really fun fabric, but then I did kind of like a plainer one on the outside so it didn't distract from the pocket and the square itself. I did a little bit better at this and figuring out how to do the ribbing around and the ribbing on the bottom as well. Also, these are really big, poofy sleeves, and I may eventually trim them down to a 3-panel instead of a 4-panel, but I do like them. This is your comfy, I just want to feel comfortable sweater. I'm cold and hot at the same time. Great sweater. I use that same pattern, however, to create these. These are my hanging granny square bags, which are so much fun, and they have a zipper. And like I said, I like to do, hold on, I meant to have that. Ironic, right? But again, I love the fun fabrics on the inside and a solid red on the outside. Because these granny squares are so open, you really have to have that double fabric. So this is something you'll be seeing later because we will be making the squares for this shortly, and I will do more of a tutorial on how to put all of that together. So that is something that I made for myself this year. Also, some of you have seen my post that about the purse I made for myself for my birthday. I'm going to show you a little bit more of that because it's changed a little bit. Because I have probably changed it up multiple times, and I'm going to put this back a little bit so you can get a better image of this, I hope. So it is the Granny Square rucksack, sunflower rucksack. And so I just took some basic Granny Square sunflowers and made 6 of them, which is where this started. And I will show you an image picture because this was all just me playing with a couple different images, a couple different patterns, just basic knowledge playing around. Then I created a base to go with that 6 pattern. And then I wanted to include these variegated colors and these solid colors as well. So I just kept going, and it kept getting bigger, and it kept getting bigger. Well, and then I wanted to top it back off with this burnt sienna. This is either burnt sienna or cinnamon cedar. Pretty sure this is burnt sienna. Of all of these are, except for the straps, are Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton, and I have fallen in love with that cotton. Maybe for some people, may not. Very smooth, very much does not cause any pain in my wrists or hands to use, and I can use it for a long time. I am so over the days of peaches and cream and sugar and cream is the other one. Anyway, if it's cotton, and even Lion Brand cotton, like I like it, but I can even just tell from the feel and the pull, like it's just not going to go well compared to what this does for me. So I highly recommend trying this if you've had an issue with cotton in the past and it hasn't worked. The only thing that isn't are these lovely straps. Now these are straps number 4 or 5. We were trying to figure that out at work today. I had a couple different designs and trying to figure out how to, because originally this was supposed to be a purse. Well, as you can see, it became a backpack. So I kept getting too thin of a strap, or it would twist real up a real lot, or it was not doing what I needed it to do. So I went looking, went over to our friend Michael's, found this cotton 4mm yarn or rope cord, braided cord. Now, if I had it my way, I would have had a 3mm instead of a 4mm, which I will be looking for in the future. But definitely enjoyed it because one of the things I love so much about it is it really does keep this part in place, the little gold piece, which this came from Michael's as well. Highly recommend Michael's for the finishings like this. And then for the cord, I took, I basically did a really long strand of every single one of the yarns that you see in the rest of the bag and braided them together. And so, and I've done that a lot over the years, made braided cords. So I made these really long braided cords. And then I wanted to add these really thick tassels on the end. But I've not always been the best at tassels, and I found a really good video. And eventually, if it'll let me link it this time, I'm going to link the video down below. And I'll link everything I've mentioned down below. I'm not a partner or affiliate with any of them, but these are things that I found that work for me. But I really liked this video, and it allowed me to make some really solid tassels with a much cleaner edge and a much better bind. So I highly recommend that video, and I will post it down below because I cannot remember off the top of my head. The brain fog is so real. And then I kind of threaded it through. And if you guys want to see the video for this, please let me know. Now, I'm going to slowly take stuff that I have in here because I have lots of my project bags in here. As you will know, I kind of toss everything in here or in my bags in general. Oh, if you keep seeing this new necklace, this is my sunflower necklace. Now, I'm not going to flash it because I don't want you to see my code. So I'm twisting it the other direction. But this is my medical alert bracelet, essentially. But I love it because it covers it. But this side has a QRC code. Because my illness is not like a one word, everybody instantly knows what's going on deal, I have this. I will link this below is for my fellow spoonies because I have found this is great. Because while I love the QRC codes, you got having one that's covered up just is sublime, because again, it just helps with my identity a little bit more. So I'm trying to get the stuff that doesn't really have to do with, because these are like my little life bags, like my medicine bags and my like fixing bags and that kind of thing. Okay. And I last night, and I don't know if I posted the clip or not, but I made a cotton one of the trash bag dispensers that was just kind of simple and elegant. Loved it. Going to be making several of those. And I started one here, but I forgot to put it in a bag, so that will be going in a bag here shortly from over there, which is where I keep them. And I brought these two because I wanted to make these colors as well. I wanted to use up this yarn, and I thought these would be perfect for those, because bright summer for somebody's kitchen. I also have my crochet needles that I'm not currently using in a project that aren't thrown in a bag anywhere. This is a project you won't see yet because it's for somebody, and you may see me get clips of me doing it on the shorts, but you won't actually see the project until we're done. Same thing with this one, because it's the same thing. I couldn't make up my mind with some of the specs, so I'm going to put that over there for a second. The reason I'm going down in here is I want you to see the lining. There's my like little pin bag, so they're not all over and I can find them real easily. And so then I'm a hand sewer, guys. I do not use I have never, nor will I ever probably ever use a sewing machine unless I can figure out how to make my manual one that's really, really old work, because there's something about those machines, like the modern ones, I always mess the bobbin up. Nobody has been able to figure out how I do it, and if we could, would stop it. But so this is my lining. So I found this really pretty fabric again at Hobby Lobby because that's where I was. I've had this one for who knows how long. I'm pretty sure it came from Walmart, but I'm not entirely sure. But I've had it forever and a day. So, and then I had this lovely, and then I found this lovely one, and I thought, oh, this matches all the colors. I like this because it kind of echoes the bottom on the outside. And so I lined my lovely little bag like this. And now it makes a really good backpack because the straps are awesome. So that's one of the projects I made myself for my birthday. And for myself. Next, one of the projects I made for my birthday, this is a Lion Brand yarn pattern. Highly recommend this pattern, but I do recommend a few little adjustments that I personally made, and I'll kind of walk you through this. But this is the Lion Brand pattern butterfly bag. Now, you can put as many butterflies or as few butterflies on here as you want. I was very specific. I wanted this swish. And the reason I wanted this swish is because, as I told you in explaining the butterfly aspect of one hook, two hands, there was a moment when I was walking along that trail the day that I kind of got the first diagnosis and just had to like heal and deal, where I was just surrounded by butterflies in an unusual way, especially for that trail. And it was just a moment of peace and guidance from God, just letting me know He was near. And so this was just to be kind of a reminder of that for me, because I'm actually using this, or going to use this more as like my church bag, for like my Bible and my journals and stuff like that. And so I wanted to have this swoosh of butterflies. And so I started with these four, and then I swooshed them up. Now, real easy to personally make. Oh, and I didn't like their handles. These handles I like, but I don't really think they go with the bag necessarily. However, they ended up making them too long, because I always make handles too long, and I'm working on that, y'all. Working on that real big. I feel really accomplished because the ones on the other bag weren't too long. But I decided to just capitalize, tie it off, put a little butterfly here, and my favorite colors from this bag. And here's the thing. I thought I said it was done. But then I realized as I used it, it kept sliding down because it's cotton, which, okay, cool. I just quickly crocheted up this little button flap and put that on here. This big purple button that I thought, perfect. It goes with the colors. I've had it forever. It's awesome. Done. And then I kind of realized, no, it really does need a lining, y'all. I didn't line it originally, but it does need a lining. So it is a work in progress because we're going to come over here. I'm using, again, this beautiful purple flowers. If you can kind of see it over here. And then over here, I have more of what I call my Parisian print fabric that's going to go around this. That's going to be the sides of the linings. And guys, I'm working on lighting. Bear with me as I learn in my office space because this is new. So bear with me, just like I learned on the other side, we got to learn over here. So those are those two things of 1, 2, 3 things that are works in progress for myself. And again, we're kind of figuring this. Next up is something that I recently got in one of my yarn hauls, and you guys have kind of seen it a little bit, but I got a bunch of purple yarn to make my first pullover sweater. So I got a bunch of the Heartland. This is so new, it's not even in a project bag yet. It's still in a plastic bag. To be fair, I needed a lot of yarn according to the pattern, so it's still in a big bag over here. So these are also things I am working on. Okay. So one of the other projects I'm working on for myself, I bought this thing years ago, guys. And now granted, not as many years ago as the 2016 blanket. This was probably actually, I know this was 2019. I got this right before I went overseas last time for 6 months. And then it was supposed to be 6 months, but then the world shut down because we had this thing called the pen, whatever. Because I don't know if we're still allowed to call it that or not on here. But I got this because I wanted to learn how to make socks. And one of my favorite yarn stores to stop at, and I always just call it the Crossville Yarn Store, but it's in downtown. But they have this cute little pattern crochet sock, and I was like, maybe, just maybe. It is still in the bag. It has never been made. Now, the reason it has never been made is because this little project of making socks, I thought was in UK terms. And the reason I thought that was UK terms is because the ladies at the store told me this was in UK. I thought told me this was in UK terms. No, 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 no. This other project I bought there was in UK terms, and they were trying to warn me. This one was still in US terms. So I could have been working on this a whole lot long ago. I'm actually going to probably try to work it a little bit this weekend. So that said, I am going to be working on this soon. But the pattern that I thought was in US terms and was in UK terms is what me and my best friend affectionately call the koala pill. Now I'm going to try to move back so you can see koala pill because he was supposed to be done in single crochet. He ended up being done in double crochet, and this is a perfect example of why you make sure you get it right. See, he is not like he should be, y'all. Now, I'm going to finish koala pill in the pattern and method that I have started him. However, he is koala pill. And bless his heart, he's staying with me. But he's a great lesson of why reading patterns and making sure that you've got your gauge and terminology and everything right is important. But he's my lovely little koala pill. Next up, if you heard my little spiel on our granny square blanket, we are going to part of what I am doing is that out of that granny square book, I am making several granny squares that are just the flower patterns, like this one. And I'm just giving a brief flash because there's somebody in my life, a little somebody, We will call her Princess 2. Or, no, that's not right. She is, instead of saying 1, well, I guess she is Princess 2 because I'm always Princess 1 in our family. That's the thing my dad started. So, Princess 2, my niece, my lovely little niece, Princess 2, for her safety, I'm going to just call her Princess 2. Princess 2 loves pink and she loves flowers and gardens. So, I'm making her for a big girl blanket out of um, the flower patterns out of that book. Now, I'm also making her some patches in the cotton that I like, and my goal is that she, when she turns 18, she'll have like a swash that's like from her 4 or 5 year old self, from her, on up, and she'll have an 18-year-old blanket that's really big and cuddly, that's cotton, that's really pretty. But yeah, so these are all the balls of yarn that go along with that. Next, I'm going to talk about this because this is a project that's going to be coming to y'all sort of soon. It's going to be after the ETSU Granny Square blanket kind of shows. So one of the cool things, you've seen me work on making this, is the magic ball. This is where you take a bunch of your scraps, use a Russian join, and you make another ball out of yarn. So you are literally saving your scraps and making it into one. And then I use a basic virus pattern to make a blanket. And it turns out in this wacky cool, and this one's going to be for me because this is just the scraps from all the projects I've done, and I love it. And I think it's important to kind of keep a history of what you've done. And it's so warm already, y'all. And I cannot wait to see how it continues to turn out. And I kind of color block it a little bit, but I'll explain that more when I start showing you how to do the magic ball, which I highly recommend. It's a great way to save your yarn. Now, I'm going to wait and talk about that one last. Again, a lot of these are for me. This is another, I'm going to do a pullover sweater. But these are some of my mandala yarns, and I'm going to do these a little bit funky. I think I may end up doing these in the hexagon. I don't know. I keep going back and forth of what I'm going to do these with, or there's a certain pattern that I'm thinking about doing. I don't know. But I want to use them that way. So, but I wanted to do something fun and bright, especially because it gets so dreary during the winter months, and I wanted to do something fun. Next up is, I've already started working on prepping our lovely sampler blanket, and so I may end up having one for myself and one to give away. But these are some of the squares from the Granny Square blanket, or Granny Square book, and I am looking forward to putting all of these together. Now, be nice, my clouds aren't on my rainbow yet, but these are a couple of the squares, and you will see as we go just some more of them, and I've been trying them, and it's turned out some really pretty things, y'all. So I'm excited to show you this and get on to working on these publicly with you. But I'm going to make one for me and one for y'all, so because I have a feeling I'm going to give away one at the end of it. And that's, and by going ahead and doing at least one square of each one, it allows me to know, okay, we're going to adjust this a little bit, adjust that a little bit, or hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. Next up, now this is a blanket I have started and really can't wait to finish. This is a Hooked by Robin pattern. This is her Ribble Crochet Blanket tutorial pattern, and I've been working on this. Purple is my favorite color, y'all. Actually, that's the bottom. Hold up. And I have a couple of different, well, I have several different yarns in here. I've got a Karen Cake Macchiato, and I cannot remember what the colorway is on that. Then I have a I love this yarn, Berry. I think that's mixed berry. And then this is our Mandala Ombre something yarn. This is yarn B yarn. This is Mandala Ombre Cool or Frigid that I talked about when we were in Walmart. And then it kind of goes and repeats. And so the idea is, the way I'm doing it is I'm doing, I think it's 7 down here or 5. No, I started with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 7. 5, 7, 5, 3, 5, 7, 5, 7, 1, 7, 5, 7, and we're on to the last 5 before we go back into repeat this little section, and this will be done. And you can already see it's a great big lap blanket, which I just wanted something that can cover me while I'm on the couch. And I'll also do a border, and I'm thinking about doing an enclosing border, so I don't know. That would be my first time doing one, so we'll see how this goes, but you may see some of this pop up on the shorts coming up. So there's that. And then I think that's everything for myself, except for one thing. And this is my other oldest, and we will get to being a little bit more in depth about this particular project here shortly. But this came from a great, she's either a great or great grandmother. I will know by the next video. But inside, when I was given this, one, I didn't realize there was something active in here, by any stretch of the imagination. But I had some of her tools, which are kind of neat to know that like what she was using, as well as that little project should be in the bag. I don't know what it is. Then she had this other little bag that had some things in it, which I thought was cute as could be. And then came the project. I'm just going to give you a glimpse of it because I'm not going to explain too much of it until we do my oldest WIP's works in progress video. And this is called the Ancient One. And so I will show you a little bit more. And this is something I was asking about on other night on the live, if anybody had any experience with, because this particular type of crochet, not so much. And so I'm excited to try to work on it and figure out how to do it. And so those are my works in progress. These are things that you'll see off and on. Now, these are things for me. There's also some things I'm making for ministries. There's some things I'm making to sell. There's some things I am making just because I started making it because I like the pattern. And I have no clue what I'm doing with it. But basically, I've got a lot of works in progress all around me right now, y'all. But I'm finally got it in one concentrated place where I can see it and be accountable to it. I will do the much larger video with you probably tomorrow or Saturday. I'll record it, and that way you can kind of go with me as we go. But I am excited to show and share these with you, as well as hopefully complete them with you as we go, and you can kind of see them as it happens. So these are my wonderful Wednesday works in progress, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed just seeing a little sneak peek, but also maybe getting inspired to work on your own works in progress and pulling them out and getting them organized, putting them in bags so that like the project is all together, so you don't have to like complain about trying to go find it to do it. And understand that like, yes, it's time to start working on these things and moving forward, um because that's how we get there, and it'll be a lot of fun. So I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.